My name is Alexis Collins.
I'm Tashi Davis.
I'm Kaji DeLosa.
And welcome back to the
104 Show.
In today's podcast episode, we're going to be discussing the Khmer Rouge and the killing fields.
Trigger warning, this episode does focus on genocide, so viewers' discretion be advised. So guys, let's just get into it head on. Who were the Khmer Rouge?
Well, the Khmer Rouge was a communist regime led by Pol Pot from 1975 to 1979.
That's a long 4 years. Who were they even inspired by? What do y'all think?
Well, they were inspired by Mao Zedong, which was radical agrarian ideology based on strict one-party rule. It rejected urban and Western ideas and abolition of private property.
And what exactly did they believe in?
So they believed in increasing food production through collective farming. In addition, they would also ensure economic security for Cambodia's overwhelming population. In addition, they were also responsible for the deaths of over millions of people through forced labor, executions, and genocide.
Well, what did the political party implement?
Well, from our research, the political party implemented radical policy and the results of widespread suffering and death.
Wow, you guys, millions, that's really crazy.
It really is.
And every genocide has a leader, so who was the leader of the Khmer Rouge?
Well, in this instance, the leader of the Khmer Rouge was actually Sar, aka known as Pol Pot. He was an antagonist. He was the leader of the Khmer Rouge, actually born in Cambodia. His goal was actually to create a Cambodian master race through social engineering. Doing this, he implemented radical policies that aimed to create an agrarian utopia. And during his totalitarian regime, under that regime, millions were forced to relocate, do labor, and even just killed innocently.
So who was attacked specifically?
The Khmer Rouge attacked various groups during their time. Anyone perceived as a threat to the regime. They singled out and executed intellectuals, professionals, and individuals with education and urban backgrounds. Protagonists viewing them as a threat, the regime forcefully evacuated urban areas, relocating the population to rural areas where they endured forced labor and harsh conditions. The methods of execution were often gruesome and included mass executions, forced labor, torture, and starvation.
Not to cut you off or anything, but I wonder if they targeted specific ethnic or religious groups.
Ethnic groups and religious minorities such as Muslims and Vietnamese minorities were persecuted and killed as they were seen as a threat to the Khmer Rouge visions and homogeneous society. The regime also conducted internal purges, executing political dissidents with its own ranks suspect of disloyalty or opposition.
So anyone perceived as a threat to the Khmer Rouge or their rule or idea, including political opponents and former military personnel, was at risk of prosecution and execution. And the systematic targeting of various groups resulted in one of the most devastating genocides in modern history, with an estimate of 1.7 to 2.2 million people were losing their lives. 8 million people did. That's insane.
A lot of people.
Yeah, that's a lot of bodies.
I wonder where they discarded the bodies.
Well, actually, they were referred to as the killing fields. They were mass grave sites and locations where many of the executions actually took place. The most known reference to the killing fields is associated with the Khmer Rouge. Many victims were taken to the killing fields and executed by pickaxes because they didn't want to use their bullets, and buried in mass grave sites. The most famous memorial in the killing fields is located in Cheong Ek village. Today it serves as a Buddhist memorial dedicated to the victims of the Cambodian genocide. Well, that's all for today on the
104 Show.
Thanks for tuning in.
Now we're going to be sending out the testimony of the actual survivors of the Khmer Rouge and their testimonies.
Ding.
Thanks. Two maps that we're going to present, and this specific map shows the neighboring countries and how they relate to Cambodia. And the capital of Cambodia is Phnom Penh, So during the Khmer Rouge era in Cambodia from 1975 to 1979, this period had profound regional implications affecting Cambodia's relationship with the neighboring countries. The aftermath led to efforts for recovery, healing, and international collaborations in order to address the consequences in this tragic chapter in Cambodian history.
To the second map, and this map consists of the killing fields of the Khmer Rouge. And basically, this map shows briefly the brutal 4 year regime. So, as you can see, Khmer Rouge, it was seized control of Cambodia from 1975 to 1979. It abolished religion, schools, and currency. In addition, to the right, you see kind of the red square. It says killing field, execution ground. So there's about 380 located in Cambodia. And then you can see the capital, Phnom Penh. As you can see, there's various killing fields around this area in addition to the other cities presented within Cambodia. So they killed up to 2 million people from starvation, overwork, torture, and execution. In addition, this map also has a representation of the prisons, which were 189, and they were located all throughout Cambodia and in various cities within this map.
Welcome back, viewers. Now we're about to go in insight on the survivors and their stories. The first survivor we have is Kim So. Kim So is now a 69-year-old survivor of the genocide, and he recounts his experience of the Khmer Rouge. When speaking of his experience, he said, I worked digging graves and burying the bodies of prisoners when the Khmer Rouge cadavers had killed them. I witnessed such killings very often, but what I cannot really forget is the voice of one girl screaming as they were beating and sexually torturing her. Kim So dropped out of school in 1971 because of the Civil War, and during the Khmer Rouge regime, he became a monk to continue his education. In 1975, Kim So left the monastery, witnessing atrocities along the way. His family was separated and he endured imprisonment, torture, and false accusations. Despite severe hardships, he resisted admitting guilt and maintained his innocence. He vividly describes the inhumane conditions of the prison, including electric shocks, beatings, and suffocation with a plastic bag filled with water. After 3 months in prison, he was released but continued to face challenges. He was forced to work in rice fields and was constantly surveillance. He witnessed brutal killings and prisoners and heard about several deaths of family members. In 1979, he discovered a letter against the Khmer Rouge, which resulted in accusations of him being an enemy. Despite his loyalty, he faced near-death experiences. Eventually, he tried to find his younger sister, but was threatened by Vietnamese soldiers who mistook him as a Khmer Rouge soldier. As he moved on, Kim So expressed gratitude for the support received and emphasized the importance of acknowledging the past through justice initiatives like the Tribunal and Memorial Stupa. His resilience coupled with as his resilience coupled with assistance of organizations like TPO allows him to face the future with a sense of support and encouragement. Through his story, Kim So sheds light on enduring impact of Khmer Rouge regime and the strength it took to rebuild one's life after such harrowing experiences.
So the next survivor is Pax Savron, and Pax Savron is a 61-year-old mother, wife, and survivor of the Khmer Rouge. Life during that time was horrifying for her. She witnessed brutal killings, physical and mental abuse during the regime. In 1975, she states that her brothers Buhan and Busan were captured by Pol Pot. They were then instructed to move to Save Don Kyo. During her time at Save Don Kyo, she was instructed to take care of the cows. In addition, she fell ill due to the dead corpse outside. Lack of medication was not made available to her. Towards the end of 1978, her family was displaced and was forced to live in the mountains. Throughout her time there, she witnessed brutal killings and harsh punishment. As a result, her whole family was killed.